So hi everyone and welcome to this new YouTube video where I will be sharing my 4 favorite hip mobility exercises and give some more information about each one of them. So let's start with the first one, the seated hip internal rotation. So what is hip internal rotation? This is the movement you make when you twist your femur inward and your foot away from midline when in a seated position, just like you can see here on the picture. So hip internal rotation is very important in sport and performance training. I will give you guys some examples. So during a change of direction or when making a cut, hip internal rotation helps decelerate the body while also loading the hip, allowing for a powerful reacceleration. Then for rotational athletes like golf, baseball, tennis, combat sports, etc., hip internal rotation is crucial for optimizing force transfer from the lower extremity to the upper extremity. So there are some researches that showed us that limitations in hip total rotational range of motion, so this means internal rotation plus external rotation, have been linked to increased risk for adductor strain in professional soccer players. It also showed us that limitations in hip internal rotation has been associated with increased lower back pain in professional tennis players. So I'm sure that you're wondering, how can I improve my hip internal rotation? Well, the good news is that you can train your hips to be able to get better at rotating internally. The first step is to address any tight muscles in the hip area. You can do this with a lacrosse ball, a terracane, so the terracane is the picture you see on the left, and the foam roller is the one in the middle. So if you're someone that follows me on Instagram, you already saw me using maybe the lacrosse ball or the terracane. Both of them, those two, I use it daily just to massage my feet, my hips, my glutes, my lower back. That's just something that's in my daily routine. Then step 2 is creating the movement of internal rotation in the hips. So I will share with you guys an exercise on the next dia. So here is the seated hip internal rotation. This is a simple exercise but very effective, and I would say this is my favorite exercise to work on hip internal rotation. So to perform this exercise, you can see here are some simple instructions to follow. So I will show you also the exercise, how to perform it. So place your hands on the ground behind you for stability, so just like you can see me here. Next, you want to internally rotate your knee inwards and towards the ground, and then lift your leg back up. So just like here, inward, go as far as you can, and back up. Then the last instruction I would give you guys is, I will show you it with the video. As you can see, I'm not using my upper body, so I'm not rotating with my upper body. The only thing that's working are my hips. So that's something you should pay attention to. Here you will see it better. Only the hips is working. So the upper body is not moving at all during this exercise. So now let's move on to the second exercise, and this one is the seated hip external rotation. So what is external rotation of the hip? So external rotation of the hip is when the top of the femur or thigh rotates towards the outside or away from the midline of the body. As this motion is made, your knees will turn outwards, just like you see here in the picture, and it's the opposite of hip internal rotation. So for the average person, they will usually lack both, so hip internal and external rotation. However, it is more common to lack internal rotation to a greater degree to external rotation. So let's talk about how to perform the exercise. So it's a little bit similar to the hip internal rotation exercise, but just like I just explained, the movement is outwards instead of inwards. So place your hands on the ground behind you for stability, so same as with the seated hip internal rotation. Next, you want to externally rotate your knee outwards and towards the ground, then lift your leg back up towards the midline, so just like I'm showing here in the video. Same thing here, very important that this leg, I will show you right now, this leg always stays in the same position, and your upper body also always in the same position, so it's always one leg that is working and the rest stays in the same position, so it doesn't move throughout the exercise. So Now let's talk about the pigeon stretch or the pigeon pose. It's also a great exercise that you can use to work on your external rotation. So for this one, sit on the ground with one leg straight behind you with the knee down. Next, take the front leg and bend it at a 90-degree angle or any degree less than that to keep your knee comfortable. So I will try to go a little bit further in the video so you can see it better. So like I explained, one leg straight behind, bend this one. So 90-degree is, I would say, very advanced, but try to go towards those 90-degree angle, and then just lay down, just like if you would do a frog stretch or a plank, or it doesn't matter. So just like you see here in the video, try to keep your hips facing forward throughout the exercise. So now let's talk about the third exercise, the 90-90 lean. So to start the 90-90 exercise, find a comfortable seat on the floor, put your legs at 90-degree angles. So for this one, so the put your legs at 90-degree angles, you should experiment with this to find the easiest way to sit in this position. So what I always do or think about is, imagine if I take one resistance band from here on the wall and put it on the ground in a straight line. Well, my body should touch the resistance band 3 times. The first one is with this foot, the second one is with this knee, and the third one is with this foot. So this should be in a straight line and touch 3 times the resistance band. The second thing I think about is always right hip in a straight line with my right knee, left hip in a straight line with my left knee. So you should just experiment with this and just find your own way of sitting down in this position. So then slowly lower your chest to your leg, just like here. Try to keep always a neutral spine, and your shoulders should be roughly parallel with the floor, and avoid leaning to one side or to another. So just lean towards your knee. During this exercise, it's normal if you feel also a glute stretch. So let's say, for example, I'm working here my right leg, I will feel in my right glute a nice stretch. So now let's talk about the fourth and last exercise, the 90-90 back knee lift. So to perform this exercise, so the 90-90 back knee lift, same thing as before, sit on the floor and then sit down into the 90-90 position. So in this video you can see it even better. Imagine a straight line here, this foot touches the line, this knee touches the line, and this foot touches the line in a straight line. Second instruction was right hip straight line with your right knee, left hip straight line with your left knee. So you can see it even better in this video. So to perform this exercise, drive your back heel into the ground, so this one, and lift your back knee up, so this one. And then to come back, really slow drive your heel in as you bring your knee down. So I'm just going to show you guys the exercise. So always keep your upper body as straight as possible. You will notice that when I'm performing the exercise, this knee always lifts a little bit up, and you will see what I'm going to do. It's just to make sure that everything happens in this leg. I'm just going to press this knee down. So you don't have to do this, but I'm always looking at details, so I think this is at the start a good way to do the exercise. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of my top 4 hip mobility exercises. Leave a like, leave a comment with what I should do next. As I promised, I'm going to post more on YouTube, even if it's just some step-by-step guidance of exercises, some full workouts. It doesn't matter, just comment everything you have in mind, and I will see if I can post it in the coming days or weeks. So thank you guys for listening, and see you on the next video.